This is Anime Out of Context, a comedy review podcast hosted by a weeb of the highest order, alongside a cynical man who knows nothing about anime. Our show features spoilers, explicit language, and poor fact-checking. Neither of our hosts are experts on any topic, and none of their opinions should be taken as fact. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I ride over in an open sleigh singing, ho, ho, holy shit, this is how I'm celebrating Christmas.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Can you hear it in the air, Remington? The jingling of the bells, the singing of the carolers, the screaming of the children who want the toys.
And, the screaming of the children is usually overshadowed by the screaming of the weebs at me. But we're celebrating Christmas, so I like Christmas, Shaun. I'm gonna be in a holly jolly mood. I'm not gonna let you soil it until you soil it.
Hey, I feel like I did pretty good for Christmas last year. Last year, I gave you some really nice, interesting information on the Christmas culture in Japan and told you about how Christmas is celebrated.
Yep, you did.
And it was great. It was a good episode. It's one of our most popular episodes, actually.
I mean, that can be said.
What, did you not enjoy it?
I mean, very Christmas.
It had a Christmas episode.
It had a Christmas episode, but it wasn't Christmassy.
And it's granted, we had already seen the Christmas episode, so it wasn't like we got to really see the Christmas part of that show.
And then people get angry at me.
But it was really less of a gift to you, Remington, and more of a gift to people who like our show. Because let's be honest, that SAO video was so good.
I don't know, man. It was fucking rough. I'm hoping that this year we actually have a Christmas episode. I deserve a Christmas gift that isn't fucking sword art. And I know that, Shaun, you're in a difficult position because you're given the option to do you give yourself a Christmas gift? Do you give me a Christmas gift? Do you give a Christmas gift to the fans? And while those can overlap, usually only two of those overlap, and there's one of those three not naming names that's left out in the cold, hoping to be let in as I peer in through the warm lit windows and see you and the fans sipping chocolate of my sadness. And it's a bit frosty, and I just hope that I'm let in this year.
I love Chocolate of My Sadness in junior high. They were the best grunge rock group.
I don't know, they were never my style, but I can appreciate the artistry.
Well, Remington, last year it was kind of a gift mostly to people who listen to the show. A little bit to me, but also it was kind of an anti-gift to me because I had to research that shit, and that's no fun.
It's true.
Because that would have been, at that time, I think my 6th time rewatching Sword Art, which, fuck me, man. I never want to do that again, but guess who's going to have to because they keep making more of it.
Reki, stop.
It's too late. He wrote these books in 2006.
Oh, Reki, please.
And I actually did recently finish, what was it? The first rewrite of the Sword Art Online art.
I would ask if it's good, but the more important question, is it Christmas?
No.
Oh, well, all right.
Shame not. There's a Christmas chapter in it, but it's not important.
All right. Well, who cares about Sword Art? I hope that's irrelevant for whatever we're doing this week. What are we doing this week, Shaun?
Remington, you don't need to freak out. I already promised you last time we did a Sword Art I wouldn't do it for the remainder of the year. And I keep my promises.
Usually.
On the show, at least.
I keep my promises eventually.
That's not what keeping promises is about.
I'm finally on the Discord. It just took a lot of struggling.
And some of the most pain you've ever gone through on this series.
And I'm also regretting a promise that I made on the Discord about I may or may not have promised to rank all 800 plus Pokemon based on fuckability when we get a certain amount of patrons on the Patreon.
Well, hey,
I did the math, right? Yeah. Which it's very simple math. Because obviously I'm not just gonna rank them. I'm gonna discuss. I have to think about these things, right?
Yep, and I'll be there to help you as well.
And if I just spend a minute per Pokemon, which I could probably go longer, Frank, then it's going to be 13 hours.
Fuck.
So it'll probably be, I'll probably have to expedite that and shorten it. I didn't think about it when I made the promise, Shaun.
No, you didn't.
It's going to probably be like episodic with an hour each episode. It's stupid. What the fuck did I do, Shaun? Anyway, we're not talking about Patreon. We're not talking about Pokemon or BDSM Charizard, or where he controversially ranks on my fuckability Pokemon list.
I would imagine very highly.
I will say he ranks highly, though not at the top. But
No, he's more of a bottom, really.
We're talking about Christmas.
Christmas, that's right. The Holly Jolly. This is supposed to be family friendly. No, it's not.
I got bad news.
Yeah, no.
So we've weaved down this road to and fro, just like a drunk uncle telling a story about something that didn't even happen at Christmas dinner. We need to interrupt the uncle, get to the point. What are we doing?
Well, Remington, we're doing a Christmas episode.
Oh, okay, thanks.
But an actual Christmas episode, because I've picked a film that is probably one of the best animated best Christmas anime things.
Oh, okay. First of all, it's a film, which is just always easier, thank God. Second of all, it's Christmas, which is great. So far, I'm optimistic. You've shown to surprise me and break my optimism, but fuck you. Let's go holly jolly with this bitch.
Don't worry, Rem. This is a very highly acclaimed Christmas film.
That means nothing to me. What is it?
It's a film simply entitled Tokyo Godfathers.
Tokyo Godfathers.
Yeah.
Okay. This sounds like it's going to be Christmassy in the same way that, like, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Like, Tokyo Godfathers, I'm expecting, like, these two dudes, like, just good old, like, Yakuza-style motherfuckers, and it just happens to be Christmas, and they're shattering kneecaps and hanging a couple Christmas lights along the way.
Yeah, you're gonna be sleeping with Mr. Claus in a bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, it's not like that, unfortunately. You're not gonna get, your, take the gun, leave the cannoli type of things. Have you ever actually seen The Godfather?
No.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Of course not. Not only am I terribly illiterate and uninformed with anime, but also with classic movies.
And yet you're super critical about just about everything. Goodness, we'll have to, one of these days we might do a couple episodes where we actually watch classic films, because my God, Remington, my God.
Maybe we'll have a few spin-off episodes. All right, so what in the world is Tokyo Godfather?
Well, it's a Christmas movie, and no, not in the way that Die Hard is Christmas movie.
Okay.
Which, by the way, where do you stand on that camp? Have you actually seen You haven't seen Die Hard.
Here's my stance on Die Hard. I think we almost certainly discussed this last year, which is hilarious.
It's a tradition at this point. We'll talk about it again next year, too.
My stance, I think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I think that for almost anyone who says it's their favorite Christmas movie, it's because they want to be real, quirky, and unique, and that's an annoying trait to have. So I think it qualifies as a Christmas movie. I do judge you if you say it's your favorite Christmas movie, especially then if you follow it up with, because if you really think about it, it is a Christmas movie, because then you're the worst kind of person.
No. For the longest time, I refused to admit it was a Christmas movie because I hated those people, but now I'm in the camp of, it's a Christmas movie, it's about family, it's about friendship, it takes place on Christmas, it's fine.
And I will say, for some people, I can accept that it's your favorite Christmas. Most of you, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, seriously.
If you're saying that it's your favorite just so you can surprise them that it's a Christmas movie, just shut up.
Then Home Alone's my favorite Christmas movie, jackass.
I mean,
yeah.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
See, now I just want to go on a tangent about Home Alone, but
we can't do that.
We can't just keep talking about tangential Christmassy things.
I mean, we did it all last year, too.
Yeah, that was Sword Art Online where we were actively avoiding topic. Maybe we just make it Christmas. Shaun, maybe we don't watch it. Maybe for Christmas we say we're gonna watch it, but instead let's just relax. Let's have a week off. Let's just talk about Die Hard and Home Alone and talk about opening presents and talk about Nightmare Before Christmas and a bunch of just Christmassy things. Doesn't that sound nice, Shaun?
Tim Burton is my waifu.
It would be great. It'd be so good.
You don't get that option though. Maybe one day we'll do something stupid like that. I don't know why we would do it. Probably I'd be intoxicated at that point. And it would just be something to get out of the way. But no.
It's more likely to happen in a part 2 after we've watched something we just don't give a shit about, really.
Yeah.
All right, so Tokyo Godfathers. We've spent a lot of time not talking about any of the anime we're gonna do.
Well, Remington, Tokyo Godfathers is probably one of the best anime Christmas movies out there. It takes place on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And it stars 3 homeless friends.
Okay. All right. You got a couple of homeless kids.
Not kids, adults.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's change it up. And then you have a very rich, curmudgeonly 11-year-old.
Spoiler, this is the prequel to Richie Rich.
And so the curmudgeonly 11-year-old is visited by three not ghosts, demons, I guess. Three demons, and they're not based on
The past, the present, and the future.
yeah, and they're not based on time. They're based on space. So they're the demons of the X, Y, and Z axis. That what's happening? What is this episode, Shaun? Christmas? Merry Christmas, y'all. What's going on? I promise we haven't not had much spiked eggnog.
only a little. We're being festive. No, it stars three homeless friends who have just experienced kind of their own Christmas miracle.
Oh, okay.
While they were shoveling through some trash to try and find, some food and stuff for the night, because, it's hard being homeless. Homelessness in Japan is actually kind of a pretty severe problem because the way they get treated is way worse there than it is here.
Oh, shit.
Which is surprising to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, we have way more over here, and that's not to sneeze at our homelessness problem because it's fucking huge and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But in Japan, especially around this time period, homeless were often treated with violence.
Oh, shit. All right. So things tend to go bad, but they've now had some good luck.
Yes.
In some
Yeah.
element.
Kind of. Yeah. It's a bit of a miracle. Oh, yes. They're rummaging through a Christmas present, because it's Christmas. Even if you're not on the best plane of your financial gain.
Maybe find some leftover KFC chicken. Yes, boom, I remember things. Look at me go.
It took you half the episode to remember it, but that's fine.
I got there.
And you'll never guess what they find. A newborn baby.
Oh, okay.
They find a dumpster baby.
Okay.
And despite having nothing at all, the three take the baby and they name her Kyoko, which means pure one. And they embark on a bit of a journey to hopefully try and find the kid's mother.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this baby was not accidentally dumped into the trash.
Well, it's hard to say because...
Is it hard to say? If you... Listen, I'm not a father.
I would hope not.
Yet.
Unless you've been
I'm still waiting on the tests. Shaun, you might be a father. But I'm not a father. But I feel like if I was, I would give a shit about my child. And if they were in a dumpster, it's probably because I didn't give a shit about him. Probably because I didn't want him. Or the best case scenario, I was so negligent that somehow they were able to get into a trash can either of their own volition or by someone else putting them in the dumpster. Either way, I'm not a good dad. If your baby ends up in the trash, you are not a good parent. Either because you're an awful human or because you just real aloof.
Well, let me put it to you this way. They have reason to believe that is not the case.
Okay.
All right. It goes into it in the show itself, and they decide that there are clues lying about that points in the direction of where their mother might be.
Oh, is this going investigation style?
A little bit, yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, so on Christmas Eve, these three homeless friends decide we're going to
Sherlock Holmes in the case of the dumpster, baby. Not quite elementary, my dear Watson.
Damn it, I was about to make that joke myself. You beat me to the punch.
All right, so Merry Christmas. So they're investigating. They want to find the mother.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Tokyo's kind of a big place.
Yep.
Being the capital and whatnot. Is it the capital? Yes, it's the capital. What am I saying? Of course, it's the capital.
Not Kyoto.
Isn't
it Kyoto? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm clueless on Japan.
It's changed around quite a bit. That's all I know.
It sounds like you're making excuses for if you get it wrong. Let's see.
It's Tokyo. Thank fuck.
It is Tokyo.
Okay, good.
Fair enough.
But no, seriously.
You better get that one right.
I would hope so. No, but the capital of Japan has changed throughout the different periods. I believe at one point it was in Kyoto, so you're not wrong.
Why can't they just be like us and have it always be in Washington, D.C. ever since prehistoric?
When the first White House arose from the depths of the Virginia swamps.
Yeah. All right, so they're looking all around. Tokyo is a huge place, so they have no idea where to look. But then they get another miracle.
Kind of.
Okay.
Because this movie does have some mild Christian themes.
Oh, we're getting Jesus in here, boys.
Yeah, and more of a vague higher power thing, because there's a couple moments.
Yeah,
of what,
but if we're talking about higher powers, is there really any higher power other than heavily Americanized Christianity?
I don't know. I've read Lovecraft stuff. And that becomes one of the big themes of it. And some people find it overbearing, but honestly, I think it's just nice and sweet and very interesting. But as they embark on the search of her, they become entangled in a series of very complicated events.
A series of unfortunate events.
You might say so. Neil Patrick Harris comes forth dressed as a creepy old man and a variety of other characters and just harasses the poor homeless folk.
God, Neil Patrick Harris is what I want on my Christmas tree. I'm not gay, but Neil Patrick Harris, come on.
I mean, he's been in some bad movies, but let's be real. Dr. Horrible, come on.
They're not bad because Neil Patrick.
No.
Right.
He's a victim.
Exactly. All right, so a bunch of crazy shit happens.
Yeah, including kidnapping, death, and a mysterious red envelope.
Oh, okay. Oh, this movie's just full of surprises, ain't it?
It is. And thus, throughout the entirety of the film, the three characters are the kind Hana, who is trans, a runaway teenager, Miyuki, and rather belligerent drunk by the name of Gin. And they're kind of an unlikely trio.
What weird, like, indie art house anime? I'm not against it at all.
It sounded like you were.
No, it's my jam. I'm not angry. I'm just surprised.
Want to know something that'll surprise you even more?
Bring it.
This film was made in 2003.
What?
Yeah.
I don't. Did they even have Christmas back then? All right. So lots of very interesting elements at play here.
Yeah. And it's a story of them trying to confront the physical problem of this kid and trying to get her home, while also dealing with their own internal struggles and how they grow to be as people and how to hopefully improve their lives themselves through this complicated journey.
Shaun,
what?
We're watching Ice Age. We're watching the hit movie with way too many sequels, Ice Age. You got a band of unlikely characters to be together in nice winter environment, having a child and having to figure out how to return that child, go on a long journey because the space is just too large. And oh my god.
You've seen Ice Age.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen fucking Godfather.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have fucking taste, Shaun.
Remington, it's been a while since I've been this angry.
What else do we need to know before watching, Shaun?
That I'm going to kill you before you even get a chance to watch it after that joke.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Jesus Christ, fucking Ice Age. This is a heartfelt, emotional story of character exploration and all kinds of interesting...
And I'm sure Tokyo Godfathers is as well.
God damn it, Remington. I'm not laughing at it. I refuse to fucking laugh. You piece of shit. I can't believe we've been friends for as long as you have. You make me so mad. My God, I want to kill you.
And Merry Christmas to all. Let's do this shit.
Oh God, the body and the story is gonna be fucking Remington. Fine, let's go watch Tokyo Godfathers so I can at least have something positive this Christmas.
Go. I couldn't help.
Yes, you could, you fucking child.
Alright, let's start.
I give you an actual Christmas movie this year for Christmas, and you do this to me.
Alright, let's start proper.
3, 2, 1, mark. Ho, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we are back. After watching the entirety of Tokyo Godfathers, the first Christmas movie we've ever properly covered, and arguably one of the best Christmas animated films out there. Anime specifically. Animated film, that could be a bit more debatable depending on your American tastes.
I mean, who can forget Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Which would play every single year. A masterpiece. Is it still playing? I don't know. Probably not, I would guess.
It's still playing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because
man.
the licensing to play that movie is probably like $1.50 at best because of how awful it is. Like, I think it plays on Cartoon Network, if I remember correctly, every year.
That
without
grandma
fail.
was great.
Okay. Look, just when Die Hard is a better Christmas movie than that it kind of shows.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
When was the last time you actually saw Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer?
It's been years ago, but I'll tell you what, I've never seen Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. God damn you.
See,
what the hell is wrong with you?
Already, we've gone on a tangent. We've completely separated ourselves from the anime, just like in the first half.
Rem.
Merry Christmas to all.
How have you not seen Die Hard?
I only watch good movies.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was deliberately inflammatory, but let's get started.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. If any more of this continues, I'm going to kick your ass off of Nakatomi Plaza.
I'm sure Die Hard.
It's, oh God.
Here, I'll give it it's like a 6 out of 10. I rate it favorable. All right, well, let's jump right
You're going to have people requesting us to do a Die Hard episode now. You know that, right?
Tokyo Godfathers.
Tokyo Godfathers. 2003 movie, arguably one of the best movies from that era in terms of anime. Fall of 2003 is when that aired, actually, which is surprising considering some of the themes it tackles.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. And let me just be upfront with how it addresses some of these themes. I view it sort of like a really, really progressive 80-year-old man.
Oh, no.
who's like, he's got the right ideas, but the way that he conveys them is occasionally iffy, right? So the old man will be like, oh yeah, you know, them blacks, them are pretty good. I don't see why everybody's angry at him. And it's like, okay, well, it's maybe not the way you should have said it there, Grandpa, but you know, your heart's in the right place.
Okay, I will clarify that some of the translations and the subtitles are a bit off.
Well, yeah, but not even just like with the language, so definitely that, but also just general portrayal and habits and attitudes and things like that. There were some so obviously as the number one thing that we're talking about here is the main trans woman character, who overall I think is done well as a character. Great character. And once again, heart is in the right place, well executed and everything, but there are definitely those like somewhat problematic tendencies, and I think a lot of those just come because 2003 Japan wasn't as woke as we are now, right? So I don't think they're terribly to blame there, but I still think it's worth acknowledging.
It's a product of the times. It's why when you watch good old fashion movies from the 50s and 60s, you just have to think to yourself, okay, product of the times. You gotta take that into the context of things and realize that the intent was never there to be negative.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of anime, the vast majority of anime with any sort of trans person, especially trans women, this one, it wasn't just the butt of a joke. They made a lot of those jokes, but it felt more character driven rather than we as the audience are supposed to be laughing at this character, which is a very welcome change.
Oh no, she is easily one of the best characters, if not the best character of the three, just due to the sheer comedy that is brought forth from her. Because you got a lot of the like, oh, you know, this isn't, you know, this is not an actual woman, blah blah blah, yeah, from the perspective, and it's like that's a joke partially, but really it's more of the extremeness of the situation.
Yeah, the vast majority of the comedy from Miss Hannah's character comes through how over the top she is, especially when it comes. She's like
she's a diva.
Yo, 100%. She's like a really kind-hearted diva, but still takes that to fucking 11. And there are lots of times where she is having a diva fit, and you're like, okay, I get it, but like you gotta calm down. And it it's endearing, and it's also very comedic in a lot of moments. And so, overall, fantastic character who, I mean, really, if anybody was like the heart of the movie, it's Miss Hannah.
Obviously.
But the other two are also like genuinely solid characters.
Right.
And what's great is it establishes that so quickly. We open up and it's a nice little, it's a nice little sermonizing Merry Christmas, sing about Jesus type deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even through this sermon that it starts out with, we can see so much strong characterization with especially Hannah and Geen, because of just how they interact with the sermon and with each other and with other people. And one of the amazing things about this, not only the very quick and strong characterization, but also it quickly establishes that it makes it feel like there's a world beyond just them. I often rail against when you just have main characters and they live in a bubble and only things that matter are them and that's it. You don't have that here. You feel like there's more going on elsewhere. Other characters who you hardly see, they have opinions and personalities, even if you just see a glimpse of that, which is so refreshing.
It's a very human show.
Yes, which is great. And even though it's a very human show, it's also will take things up to 11. Like, one of the things we discussed while watching is that Tokyo Godfathers is very much in the style of a Western Christmas movie, right? And nowhere I think is shown more than the what I'm going to call the Christmas Ex Machina.
This movie
is filled with Christmas Ex Machinas, which I think is not terrible, because in Christmas movies, what they're known for, characters are going to be at their lowest, or they're not going to know where they're going to go next, and then a moment of serendipity, which, I mean, serendipity is one of the primary functions of Christmas. Just those moments of fortune and luck and hope that you have, and that's a beautiful idea, whether you have the Jesus-inspired miracles or just really good luck view of things, right? It's that sense of serendipity and hope. It's a beautiful thing. And so I think it's more acceptable in this medium than, say, a shonen where they're trying to pretend that everything is because of the powers that they haven't described, and then they're just like, hey, Sword Art Online, who cares about rules? Like, it's much more acceptable here because, one, it fits within Christmas and fits within the emotional truth of the thing.
Honestly, Rem, I think that this is probably the prime example of what a Ex Machina should be used for, because there are plenty of Ex Machinas in literature that aren't the worst thing on the face of the planet that make you want to cry every time you see them. And this movie is aware of that fact, so much so that literally every plot point is a machina.
Oh yeah, and then whenever the Christmas Ex Machinas are introduced, they don't just say, oh, neat, that's cool. They bring it to fucking 11. There's one bit with an ambulance, and that's all I'm gonna say, watch the movie. There's one bit with an ambulance, which was just an amazing moment. It came out of nowhere. And moments like that, this show will have you just saying, wait, what the fuck? It'll go from so tremendously grounded and human, where it will be slowly paced, and it'll just be the characters talking and interacting, and it won't be crazy. It'll just be relaxed and very human, and then it'll go batshit nuts in 10 seconds, and then it'll go back, and you'll be like, oh, okay.
It's what I like to describe using the medium of animation to its fullest potential.
100%.
Because not only do you get these cool, deep, interesting character moments and amazing cinematography, well-directed scenes, out of nowhere you're going to get a mind-blowing action scene with hilarious slapstick comedy elements, as well as just some great character facial animation.
Oh, the facial animations are absolutely top-notch. And I think that most people are obviously going to, when talking about the facial animations, talk about Miss Hannah, who obviously I think has the most notable and varied facial animations.
I mean, because the running joke is that she's hideous, which she is, but that's besides the point.
I think the facial expressions I like the most come from our third character, which we have yet to discuss.
Miyuki.
Miyuki has, she's just this teenage runaway, and her facial expressions, she so well conveys like sass, sarcasm, but also like confusion and what the fuck is going on.
She's a teenager, and you can fucking tell she's a teenager.
In this band of Tokyo Godfathers, she's definitely like the quote-unquote straight man of the comedic band, right? And she still has her wacky moments, but overall, she is the one that's the most grounded in reality.
Which is hilarious considering all of the stuff she puts up with.
Oh, yeah. And so you just have growth. I would say, in a lot of ways, ways, this sort of had a similar thing as Kiki's Delivery Service, where I didn't really give a shit about the plot. What I cared about were the characters. And similar to Kiki's, I think towards the end, the plot sort of lost me when it comes to interest because it became a little more plot focused, which is just not what I cared about at all through the movie. But nonetheless, it still had those character moments, thank goodness.
Honestly, the movie is more about the characters and the plot is just kind of part of it and is just the way to kind of wrap things up fully for them with some more of that Christmas flavor and some more Christmas miracles. And I gotta tell you, Remington, the first time I saw this movie, my favorite part was just how many there were.
Yeah. Oh boy, yep.
Because there is clearly an absurd amount, so much so that it's very self-aware of the idea of the Christmas miracle, and it wanted to not only make fun of that idea, but also take it up to 11 so that not only do we get those happy, warm, fuzzy Christmas feelings, but we can also genuinely enjoy them as actual moments, aside from the fact that they're parody-ish in nature.
What was great, so often I've talked before about this idea of you can't just say, oh guys, we're doing the trope, get it? And then be away from doing a shitty trope, right? And I fully maintain that. But what this movie does a bit differently is it says, oh yeah, this trope is pretty ridiculous, right? You think it's ridiculous? How ridiculous do you think it is? Is it this ridiculous? Fuck no, it's more ridiculous. And so it'll lean so hard into it. It doesn't just say, wow, Christmas miracles are overdone and stupid. It says, Christmas miracles are a bit silly. So what we're going to do, we're gonna make them real fucking silly.
And want to know what makes that whole thing best part of this whole movie?
What?
They say that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this is a really solid Christmas movie, especially if you're looking for something that'll get you in that Christmas spirit, that'll make you feel holly jolly and merry. This is a solid one because it has all of those moments, and it'll still add a sufficient twist to everything, but without compromising the heart of what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie. Like, my biggest complaint about it is sort of what I already touched upon, how towards the end it isn't really great. And I think part of that has to do with they're searching for a mother, and they're searching for this one woman, and I just didn't ever give a shit about her. I felt like she was not as strongly established as everyone else, because everyone else it does incredible with. And it's not that they do terrible with this mother figure, but they don't do nearly as well as with even any other side character.
Rem, not everything can be your golden standard. I think they did fine with her, but you're right, they could have done a bit more. But all in all, I still think this movie overall is top tier.
And I'd agree, it's really solid. Even the little things like the sound design was really solid. I thought that the timing of a lot of things was phenomenal, because very often they would take a slower pace to things, whether it be plot points or a certain scene, or especially they weren't afraid to take time with their punchlines, which I so strongly appreciate. They're willing to wait a few seconds and then let it land, because so often when shows have any sort of comedy, they feel like, all right, here it is, here's the joke, there it is, it's gone now, and they just feel like they gotta force it and rush it, and it's just not great. But Tokyo Godfathers takes its time. It takes its time with the jokes, it takes its time with plot and a lot of the scenes. It definitely, I wouldn't describe it as a fast-paced movie.
Oh god, no. It's an old school Christmas movie.
Oh yeah.
It has a slow pace on purpose.
But still, at all points, something interesting is happening, and it's always building to something. If you're wondering what I constantly mean by the difference between inefficient storytelling and slow pacing, watch Tokyo Godfathers, because it's a slower paced movie. Not the slowest pace, but a slower pace. But it has very strong storytelling, very efficient, lots of amazing details that it'll throw in every single moment of the way. This will help you understand what I mean by that.
People don't give a shit about that, Remington. They're still going to call you out on a lot of the hatred you drop on all their favorite shows.
Well, maybe they should like better shows.
Not everything can be a critically acclaimed movie, Remington.
And therefore, not everything I'll say is good.
Jesus Christ. Care to take a guess at what this is ranked on Mal?
It better be at least 8.
8.29.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's ranked number 246 from a surprisingly small amount of users, actually.
Guys.
78,000 is how many have ranked it. Most of them are like 9, 10, 8, 8, 9, 10, 8, 8, 9, 10. It's just like, well, yeah.
I don't think this is the best anime I've seen. I don't think this is the best movie I've ever seen, but it's Christmas. And if you're looking for a real solid Christmas anime movie, go watch this one, guys.
Yeah, fun fact, Remington, this is another point in Madhouse's favor for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and it was also, if I remember correctly, it's either written or directed or both by a fellow by the name of Satoshi Kon.
Good old Satoshi.
We haven't seen any of his other stuff, but we will because he made a lot of movies. He died in 2010. He made a lot of movies and books and things that are really good quality and like this, and I think this is probably my favorite of his, but that's just because I'm a sucker for a good old-fashioned Christmas movie.
So what you're telling me is that when we watch more of Satoshi's stuff, it's all downhill from here.
Okay, do not put words into my mouth. Jesus Christ, do you want to make like Alan Rickman at the end of fucking Die Hard, or shall I give you a worse fate? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, you're talking about Severus Snape, because Harry Potter is my favorite anime. It's also my favorite Christmas anime.
Oof, crap. I do, yeah, you know? They do have a Christmas part in every single movie, don't they? Oh, man.
Quite prominently.
Yeah, especially in the first one, the Philosopher's Stone, or if you're American, the Sorcerer's Stone.
Hell yeah, brother.
I figured I'd add that in for you because you were going to call me out on it anyways.
But overall, it's just a solid movie. It has its flaws, sure, but it's just so charming in its execution. It has such strong character building and relationship building, which is so often forgotten about, even though you have these characters who are yelling at each other and sincerely frustrated with each other throughout the entire movie. Until the very end of it, you can still feel how much they care the whole way through.
They're still friends.
It's a hard balance to strike, but they nail it. This is a worthwhile movie. Go check it out. Merry fucking Christmas. Fill yourself with some holly jolly cheer and a little bit of Jesus.
Or a lot in Tokyo Godfathers' favor.
Yeah, fill yourself with so much Jesus.
So much Jesus. It's not explicitly said Jesus, but there's a lot of I am Jesus being screamed towards the audience, and that's fine. You don't have to listen to it. You can just kind of tune it out like you do with most religious services.
It's pretty easy to do.
But Remington, before we go, we should thank the two people that did recommend this to us. That would be Hugh and Ellen.
Good job, Hugh. Good job, Ellen. You guys nailed it.
Yeah, Ellen recommended this literally right after last year's Christmas episode because she was like, man, I loved your Christmas episode, but if you guys actually want to do a real Christmas episode, there's this. And I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, you already knew my plan for next year. Good work.
And then now next week, we can celebrate another year. New Year's celebration next week, looking back on a whole year of watching anime.
A whole year, almost 2.
It's pretty crazy.
But Remington, you are just a hair off. It won't quite be the New Year's till next episode.
Well, it won't be the New Year's, but it'll be our like New Year's look back celebration bullshit.
You know what? So it should be something special, something unique, something powerful and inspiring.
All right. Well, now I'm concerned more than ever.
But before we get into that, Remington, I have to ask one important question. You want to watch Tokyo Godfathers with me again sometime?
You know what, Shaun? It might become a Christmas staple.
All right, excellent. And before we get into our final goodbyes, we have some house cleaning to do, Remington. I don't know if you noticed this, but we started a Patreon recently.
We did, yes, and it's gone pretty well. We need to still sort out some little details.
Like we didn't expect, any patrons to actually go for anything higher than the bare minimum, but that's fine. That's great.
The one person who's on the Chef and Musco tier, don't worry, you'll get something special. But if you are interested and have the option financially to support us, if you're a broke college student, don't do it.
We get it.
We understand. Don't worry.
We're broke college students. We understand.
We're there with you. But if you are willing and able and you'd like to support us, then head on over to patreon.com/anime out of context. We have all sorts of extra perks, from our special episode 0 never before seen to weekly banter before every single episode and a monthly extra episode episode, as well as a bunch of other goodies.
It's a lot more work for us, but we feel like you guys deserve it. And if you did enjoy this particular podcast, and even if you can't throw in any cash, you know what you can do for us? You can just drop a review on whatever platform you listen on, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or if you really want to help us grow, word of mouth is the best way to do it.
And if you would like to contact us directly, whether it is for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, then you can either tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and as always, don't fuck your sister. Bye-bye.